Hey guys, what's up and welcome to today's video. So a question I've been receiving quite a lot lately is what happened to the 2020 Apple TV? And that's a really good question and I have some thoughts on that. So before we get into it, make sure you hit that subscribe button because we're bringing you awesome content every single week and you don't want to miss it. So for those of you unfamiliar with the Apple TV rumours that were floating around, it seems to be that we were going to get just a generic new Apple TV for 2020 running on like an A12Z processor, which obviously be a lot more powerful than what we've currently got, but that would be more focused to just being your general Apple TV, you know, for watching your video, for streaming your iPhone stuff too, and just what the Apple TV exists for at the moment. But then the really juicy rumours were we would be seeing like an A14 version of it or something like the Apple Silicon, which would be really focused towards being, I guess, Apple's real first foray into an actual games console. And those were the really, really exciting rumours. There were loads of things floating around that they would chip it with an Apple controller as well, an actual games controller, rather than those awful Apple remotes that you get with them at the moment that everybody just absolutely hates. And there were so many things that were exciting about it because at this day and age where there's new generation of consoles coming out and they're really hard to get hold of, you know, it was just one of those exciting things that Apple might finally be taking gaming seriously. They had all of the silicon lined up, so you can have iPads, iPhone, Apple TV, Macs, all running on the same sort of hardware, so it would make game development so much easier just to unify it right across the board. But alas, we never saw them. They just kind of disappeared, the rumours stopped coming out, and there was nothing mentioned at their latest One Last Thing event, and that's kind of where I was really, really hoping to see it. It would be one of those perfect things for this time of year. So the question is, what happened? You know, it all seemed to be very much a case of Apple had this in development and it was pretty much ready to go, and it just disappeared. And I have a few thoughts on that. The first one is it's supply chain issues. At the end of the day, there is only a finite amount of silicon that they can produce. And think about how much they have released recently. You've got the iPad and you've got all sorts of different iPhone models that they've released, you know, for this time round. And then you've got things like all the Apple Macs as well. So you've got the Mac Mini, you've got the MacBook Air, you've got the MacBook Pro. All of this running on very, very similar architecture. And somehow, in one very short window, they've got to produce it, they've got to manufacture it, and they've got to get it out to customers. And at the end of the day, Apple have always said that the Apple TV is ultimately a hobbyist thing for them. It's just something that they've kept on going. It's something that I suppose they quite enjoy and they're experimenting with. But it probably doesn't have as much of an effect on their bottom line as something like the iPhone, for example, or the iPad. And they need their new Macs to be a success, so they need them in stock. And ultimately then, if Apple also were to diversify and bring one of these out, especially for the Christmas period where gaming is a hot topic right now and they'd probably get snapped up like mad, it means that they're not really going to be able to meet demand. And when you look at things like PlayStation and Xbox and Nvidia, they just can't meet that demand at the moment. There's so much pent up demand for this that if Apple also stumbled onto the scene and produced a games console or anything like it, it's probably going to get snapped up, which is going to eat into their iPhone sales or their iPad sales or, you know, God forbid, their new Mac sales or something, which they need to be a success. So it makes sense. They can only produce so much stuff, and they've had quite an aggressive release cycle in this last quarter. So, you know what? I understand why this got pushed. I would imagine we'll probably see it maybe beginning of next year or sort of mid-2021, but you know what, it's anyone's guess at the moment. So manufacturing aside, or what else could be holding it up? And one of the big things that we're seeing at the moment is a massive push software-wise for Apple to get Apple TV shipping on other devices. So there's talk of it obviously going onto the Xbox, going onto PlayStation. It's getting shipped with so many different types of TV at the moment. And Apple are really going full hog on that Apple TV Plus streaming service. And ultimately that kind of makes sense. Anybody who got the free trial when they purchased a new device has now had that extended into next year. And if you are buying a new Apple device, you get Apple TV Plus included for a year. And ultimately, they're really trying to flesh that out and make it valuable to people. And I kind of see where they're coming from. By getting people hooked into that service and into the software side of things, it means that hopefully when one of these ships and we get the new one in 2021, people will probably be more likely to pick it up and buy it because actually they're using that side of the service. At the moment, you throw another one of these out, people already have streaming services, people already have streaming boxes. Chances are they're not going to see any need at all to pick one of these up. But in the future, that could all change. You've also got Apple Fitness Plus as well, which is one of those things that's going to work really well with something like an Apple TV. But that seems to be getting delayed, and we're not seeing any signs yet from Apple as to when that's going to come. Apple One's launched already, and it's got Fitness Plus bundled in with it, but Fitness Plus isn't here yet, and it is meant to ship this year, but so far we're not seeing that. And again, they probably want that sort of service to be out there so people are really built into the software and the services offering. So that way, when it comes around to next year and this launches, in the customer's mindset, they're there thinking, you know what, I use Apple TV Plus a lot, I use Fitness Plus a lot, I use these Apple services and I'm using them on my TV and it's not a great experience. Yeah, I'll pick one of those up. And last but not least, the competition at the moment is absolutely hot. We have new graphics cards from AMD and Nvidia, which, are really retaining the PC market and just getting people excited about gaming again. We've got the PlayStation 5 and we've got the new Xboxes as well. There's so many things that are landing at the moment that you throw an Apple TV console type thing into the market, it's probably just going to get cannibalized by all the other things. No one's really going to take it seriously. They want to have their own launch window and launch this proposition and product on its own, and maybe have a bit more time with developers as well to get stuff onto there. Apple Silicon's now available, so fingers crossed, if this does ship with something that's similar to the Macs and the Mac Mini, hopefully developers will have a lot longer to work with it, see the advantages, and that way when they do launch it next year, it's not launching alongside all the big competition in terms of gaming, and it will be launching with a more fully fledged gaming package. At least fingers crossed, we're not just going to get another Candy Crush or something like that for it, but who knows? So that's it. That's my thoughts on what happened to the Apple TV this year. There were so many rumours flying around and it seemed like a pretty much guaranteed thing that we'd be seeing, and especially the games console side of it, which is really, really interesting. And I can't wait to see what Apple actually do with this. The reason I did this video is because I've been getting asked so many questions about it, so I figured, I'll put all my thoughts into a video for you guys as well. But if you've got any questions or thoughts on it, so let me know in the comments. Do you think that we're going to see an Apple TV that's really focused at gaming in the future? Personally, I think it's coming. With the advances we've seen with Apple Silicon and what they can pull off, a more expensive one of these that's capable of doing a more advanced gaming, you know what? To me, that sounds great. Just look at the Mac Mini at the moment and the amount of wasted space inside of that thing, because they don't need as much room for all the fans and they don't need all the room for the RAM and everything else. They could quite easily shrink that down and get it to something closer to this size. And I can't wait for next year to see if we do actually see that. So hopefully you've enjoyed that video. If you have, hit the subscribe button because we'll be putting out even more awesome content in the future. In the meantime, stay safe and we'll see you soon. Bye.